We identified a solid growth stock this week. Find out why we think it is a very promising stock to hold. What is growth investing? Growth investing is a style of investment strategy focused on capital appreciation. Those who follow this style, known as growth investors, invest in companies that exhibit signs of above average growth, even if the share price appears expensive in terms of metrics such as price to earnings or price to book ratios. Growth investors focus on stocks that are seeing above average financial growth. For starters, a good growth helps make it stand out because it often delivers great returns. However, finding a good one that performs over a long period of time is not easy. There's an increased risk that comes with these potential reward. For one, there's increased volatility to consider. In general, high growth stocks come with a higher risk. But there's even a greater risk than that, especially for a new investor getting into growth stocks. This risk would be that the investor may be buying at the very top of the run, right after the stock already had its run. It's simpler to spot a high earnings per share growth trend, but it's not so easy to spot when the stock has peaked. Remember, the stock market is forward-looking. Forward-looking means that people make their purchase decisions based on what they perceive as a promising future. This is why sometimes those outrageous prices are actually already factored into the stock price. For example, when you look at Apple's iPhone 12 Pro release, the stock rose during the preceding trading days largely due to the anticipation. On the day of, the stock price dropped a bit as sellers took their profit. This is the opposite of what we might have anticipated and serves as an important lesson in learning about how a crowd of investors behave as a whole. This is why it's important to get in at the right price and never chase a stock as they rocket upward. So now, let me introduce you to my latest stock purchase, IBP. Installed Building Products, IBP, is a residential insulation installer company with a great potential. Let's talk about earnings growth. Earnings growth is one of the most important criteria in identifying a promising future for a company. This is because stocks that show solid growth in profit tend to attract more public attention, which means there will be more investors coming in to buy the stock. This is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're looking for a double-digit earnings growth. A double-digit earnings growth is often indicative of strong price gains in the future. While the historical EPS growth rate for installed building products is about 39%, what we are really interested in should be the company's projected growth. Now, these projections could be off, but a group of people studying this full-time is more reliable than making guesses while being in the dark. IBP, Installed Building Products earnings per share, or EPS for short, is expected to grow 27% this year. This puts them in the category of being the industry leader, because the industry average EPS has a growth of 21%. This makes IBP, Installed Building Products, better than the industry average by roughly 6%. Another thing we want to look at is the company's cash flow growth estimates. It shouldn't come as a surprise that an above-average cash flow growth is a very important factor when it comes to growth stocks compared to stocks of other companies. A healthy cash flow implies a number of things. It usually means that the company can carry its own weight and wouldn't have to seek outside funding to sustain itself. In other words, they can handle their own and don't need anyone's help to sustain. So let us take a moment to look at the year-over-year cash flow growth for Installed Building Products. Their cash flow growth is about 24.6%. This is significantly higher than the industry average of -5%. Yes, that is a negative. From this perspective, we can see that Installed Building Products is, again, an industry leader, especially when it comes to its cash flow growth. So now we know what the current cash flow growth is. You're in for another surprise when you compare their historical cash flow growth rate. IBP's annualized cash flow growth rate has been around 42% over the last few years. Compare this to the industry average of just 13%. IBP, Installed Building Products, is clearly a solid growth stock. Now let us take a look at something that may not be a typical angle in which to look at a prospective growth stock. This would be to measure the number of positive changes made by analysts who revise their initial estimates. In other words, what does it tell you when a bunch of analysts revise their earnings estimates to the upside? It's really a no-brainer. When several researchers who study company earnings full-time and do this for a living are suddenly seeing new information that makes them all realize that the earnings for this company going forward is going to be better, what would that translate to the company's near-term stock price movements? IBP, Installed Building Products, had quite a few analysts change their mind and call for a higher future earnings. This is obviously a positive sign. Installed Building Products has many positive characteristics going for it. It's clearly a solid growth stock. Installed Building Products is most likely going to be an industry outperformer. So we've come to the final question of when should we buy this? Now, don't just jump in the next morning to purchase this stock. As we always say, wait until the market sees a red day. Waiting for a bloody red day of bloodbath in the stock market is, in general, the precise time that you should be making most of your purchases. Don't chase it on your way up, wait for the right opportunity to make your purchase. Let us know after a couple of weeks or months how this investment went. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed watching this video, please smash the like button below and subscribe to our channel. Let's make money together. Click on the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates when we find the next great opportunities for you. Thank you for watching and have a great day.